Control F stands for, it's a find key. Okay? Now, while you're on that web page, you're going to notice a box pop up on your browser, and it's going to let you type whatever you want in there. If you were to type in the word used cars and hit show all, it'll highlight them on your page, and it'll show you how many times that found that word. So that's a great tool if you want to actually analyze your website, go to it. Look for these keywords on your site to say, hey, am I telling people that I even have used cars and I'm in, Brockway, Pennsylvania? You will be later on, buddy, I'll tell you that. No. Now, page count and density. You get a grade based upon each page. Page count and density is an average of your site. If you have 10 pages and you got a D- and a C+ and an A-, your whole site gets an actual grade as well. So by going through and making sure that each page has a good grade on it and the keywords and terms that you're telling the search engines you have are actually found on that page, you're going to get a bit better grade for your entire site. Now, proper web publishing procedure. A lot of companies, they just build a website and that's it. You actually have to submit your site to the search engines. Okay? If you go to Google and type, guess what? Add my website to Google, the number one URL that's going to pop up is Google/add URL. You can type in your website address and you can give them a description on what you do. And it's very easy. Just type add my website to Google in the Google search box. It's the first result. And if you submit them to come to your site, they'll crawl your site. Now, what I would suggest doing is making and applying these changes that you've learned and then submit your site to Google. Because then they're going to come and they're going to see the changes that you've made and they're going to document them a little bit further. Now, the last one, and this is the most important, okay, you could have the best meta structure in the world and they know exactly what you have, but you might not have value to your website. Just because they know that you're in a certain city and what you sell doesn't mean that your site's valuable enough to belong in the #1 spot. Now, the search engines give a grade based upon people linking in. If you had a website and Auto Trader is linking into you, or Cars.com is linking into you, or Carfax is linking into you, they say, okay, well, these people are linking to the site. That obviously means that they feel it's valuable. So some of their value transfers to you. How many people here know a person that sells tires or a repair shop or somebody who's in the automotive-related field that wouldn't necessarily be stepping on your toes if you asked them to link to your website? Pick up the phone. It's very, very simple. You add a link on your website that links to them. They add one that links to you. The more links you have coming into your site, the more value your site has. So #1, you have to go through and make sure that you tell the search engines what you have. You have to make sure that it matches what the content that's actually on your site. And then you actually have to create value to it. So that's probably one of the most important is linking internally to and from your site. Now, if you link in your site, you could put a link on your home page that says used cars. It links to your browse inventory page on your website. Well, guess what? That's going to create more value in your website to that browse inventory page because there's internal links pointing to it within your website. So take a look at your website, analyze which pages are more important, and either get your internet providers to do internal linking to and from on your important pages. It's actually going to help quite a bit. Now, the rules to the search engines are always changing. A perfect example is the iPhone. They just came out with yet another one, and it's been 2 years, and there's 10 versions. Every time a new phone comes out, everyone's got to go and spend $500, and they don't make insurance. Okay? The search engines do the same thing. They change the rules all the time. Now, they don't change the rules that are the standards. They change the rules to look for people who are abusing the system with hidden text and black hat tactics. So using the rules that I've shown today, you're never going to run the risk. Okay? Now, there's something called a revisiting robot or a spider, and it's a command prompt that allows the search engines to come back to your site and revisit it on a frequent basis. Ask your internet manager how often the spiders are crawling your site. If you command the search engines to come back to your website more frequently than 10 days, okay, and they come to your site and you haven't changed anything, they're going to move you backwards in your search engine placement. A lot of people don't know that. So make sure they're at least set to follow or 10 days. Now, the search engines are doing a lot of stuff with real-time indexing. They come a lot more often than that. But as a fail-safe, you never want to allow your website an opportunity to move backwards. You always want to continually move forward. Now, how do they know about a car that you put on your website on Wednesday if the last time they were at your site was last Tuesday? Or Thursday, I'm sorry. I mean, how do you know what's in your bank account if your accountant only works 4 times a year and they come in once a quarter? You're not. The search engines don't know how to direct somebody to you because they don't know they even have it. So make sure you know how frequently these robots are actually coming to your search engines. Now, make sure they're aware of what you have at your dealership. We just went over that. Fresh changing content. They like to see things changing. Some website providers allow blogs. I think dealer.com does. Even if you have editable text sections throughout your site, changing those around a little bit. How many people have the ability to feature an auto or a vehicle on their homepage or something? When they come back, if they see that there's something there, they say, you know what, this site is being ran by a human being and not a robot. Okay, there's activity here. We can tell the last time they logged in. You're going to get a good grade for that. So new content is good. It's not run by a computer. It's run by a person. And then site growth. They like to see websites grow. Now, some dealerships allow you to store your sold inventory, which is great because you continually build page content. Some websites allow you to have a blog where you can continually grow content. But the larger your site and the more times the keywords can be found in your site, the better that it is for you. And blogs are probably one of the best because you could have 1,000 articles over time that all contain the words used and cars and autos and pre-owned and vehicles or the area in which you're located. So site growth is definitely something that's good as well. Now, did any of you guys get a chance to go over the social media class this morning? Okay, some of you guys. Now, I'm not going to beat a dead horse. I don't really need to say anything else other than you have to fish where the fish are. Okay, you know, everyone's like, well, where do my customers go? Well, you're fishing in the wrong pond. Customers haven't really gone anywhere except to the internet. And as long as you know the pond to fish in, you can. Now, an interesting statistic, I'm not sure if they covered this, but social networking Facebook site has overtaken Google. That's a pretty good statement there. Everyone's at Google, and now Facebook is bigger than Google. Okay, and during the month of March, the two sites here, the percentage here was Facebook had 7.7% of all traffic. Not just used car searches, all traffic. They just went there. Facebook is now a destination. Okay, it's not a website anymore. It's not a social network. It's a destination. Now, Google's traffic is at 7.3%. Now, you have to implement these types of tools because if we know that your customers are there, I mean, the name of the class here is letting the web work for you. And what does that really mean? Well, let your customers share your inventory. Now, giving the consumers easy access to share what they have found through their preferred network for the dealer, this will not only help their brand recognition, but it'll also help increase sales. Now, one of the key points about social networking is that you can build a reputation about yourself. Okay, it's not going to really help you sell more cars. If a lot of people say, oh, well, I'm selling cars on Twitter and Facebook, well, you know, yeah, you are going to run into that, but that's not going to be the primary use of what you're using it for. You want brand recognition. Your Facebook page, your Twitter page, they actually communicate to the search engines. If someone types in the name of your dealership, well, guess what? They're probably going to find your website, but they're also going to find a lot of other things about you. If you sponsor a baseball team or the philanthropic efforts that you pursue, it helps build your credibility and your reputation. And in this day and age, that's more important. You have to make a first impression just like you would if you were standing there on your website and who you are. Now, there's over 40 social networks here. We've implemented all of these within all of our client sites so that way your customers can share your data information on all of these social networks. Now, there's a lot of good ones out there. The most popular are going to be the Facebook, the Twitter, the MySpace. There's some that are specifically to lines of industry. Now, there are some free tools that are out there, and adding these to your website is a must. 99.9% of websites allow you to install what's called HTML code in an editable section. Okay, a link. It's basically nothing more than a link. Everyone should probably write this URL down. It's addtoany.com. It's a free tool. If your website provider does not currently have social networking tools within your site, this is free. Okay, and it's going to make a night and day difference to what you guys are doing. Now, it's extremely easy. I'm going to show you the screenshot of the site here. You visit the site, addtoany.com. You see that sign that says get the button? You press it. It gives you a code. Email that to your IT person. Very simple. Okay? But you got to give your potential customers the tools. Because if they don't have the tools, they can't help. A perfect example of why it's important is if somebody's shopping for a car for a relative or family member, they want to be able to show that to them very easily with these sharing tools. Could they post that vehicle listing onto somebody's Facebook account? Well, how many here have a Facebook or a MySpace or something? Here, logged on, you're like, wow, I can't believe Sally has 3,000 friends. Okay? People sit there and they want to add friends all day long. Well, guess what? Someone gets a vehicle listing put on their wall. Not only do they see it, but all 3,000 of their friends see it. Okay? Somebody else sees it and they have 5,000 friends. and it's like wildfire. It just